In today's video, we'll take a look at some gameplay elements that are easy to miss during a casual walkthrough. We'll start with the mission Cutthroat Business, in which the developers secretly implemented a surprising feature. See, in that mission, if we enter a one-seat vehicle, for example a bicycle, while being next to another car or a bicycle, Mad Dog will enter that other vehicle, even if it's driven by someone else, and follow us in it. The game never informs us about this feature, so it's very weird. It's sad though that Mad Dog doesn't get into any planes, helicopters, nor a tank, so there isn't that much fun to be had with it. That doesn't change the fact that it's seriously one of the best details I've encountered, especially that it seems to be exclusive to this mission. In other missions of a similar pattern, we're not able to achieve a similar effect, neither with Ryder, nor with Ken Rosenberg, nor with the Triad boss Woozy. None of them behaves the same way as Mad Dog in this aspect. Did you know that at the beginning of the mission OG Loke, if we don't enter Big Smoke's car and we fail the mission instead, a yellow arrow will appear next to a nearby house and we will be able to enter it? And that house is a regular house available to rob during the burglary mission. We'll be able to find some carryable items in there, which we'll be able to bring outside. Just as well, we can meet people sleeping inside who will want to call the cops, only that they're never able to. That's because the script is inactive, the burglary mission script that is. I even decided to check the script.scm file out of curiosity, and indeed, in the mission failure procedure, someone wrote a line which makes that particular house accessible. It's totally out of nowhere. I don't know if someone threw it in as an Easter egg, or that house perhaps at one point belonged to Smoke in some very early stage of development and was supposed to be accessible to us. It's a weird one, that's for sure. In another infamous mission, Wrong Side of the Tracks, it turns out that one can observe extraordinary phenomena. See, before we drive into the red marker with Smoke, if we enter the train with the help of a trainer, after which we will derail it, crazy things will happen. First of all, the cutscene will be broken. The Vagos don't realize that the train on which they wanted to jump off onto disappeared. Then it turns out that a magical force teleported them onto the derailed locomotive, sticking them to it using some extra strong glue. Such a state is called the turret mode on the .scm coding language. But that's not all. If we touch that engine, it will fall underground. After a while, the Vagos teleport back on the surface, or rather, they get stuck in a limbo between our world and the cursed realm, and the game won't be able to decide in which universe they should be placed. It looks as if the game was constantly attempting to teleport the Vagos onto the train, but the function constantly returned that it's impossible. So it teleported them back, and the game stubbornly kept on trying. That could be why the Vagos are flashing. Even their voice is fragmented. Take a listen for yourself. What's equally interesting, one can still kill them. All it takes is to shoot them while they're in the realm of San Andreas, or light them up as you could see on the clip a moment ago. Unfortunately, the mission can't be completed because one of the Vagos is supposed to be killed by one of the ceilings under which the train would normally pass. But since our train is currently in the cursed realm, that never happens, and the Vagos was made invincible, thus can't be killed in order to complete the mission. On a bicycle, one can go ridiculous distances without pedaling. CJ is sort of able to reduce the friction forces, or at least that's what it looks like. If we gain some speed, after which we stop pedaling, and weigh CJ's body forwards, obviously avoiding turning, then we'll be able to keep riding for a really long time without moving the pedals. Normally, it's significantly above 1 minute. What's the fastest vehicle in the game? Some would say that the Infernus, others Hydra, and yet others that it's the NRG 500. What all of them would have in common? The fact that they'd all be wrong. The fastest encounterable vehicle in GTA SA is the train, which spawns at the end of the final quarry mission. And that train is on some proper-ass bull shark testosterone. It's undoubtedly faster than the Hydra, NRG, and Infernus. And it doesn't derail either. I mean, until we get in, that is. Unfortunately, one can't drive that son of a gun, but there is a way to ride it. You must use a trainer. If we teleport into a passenger seat, then it will be possible to ride that beast around the map. And at the end, I also prepared a little crash test featuring this train. Check it out. Oh, and also, that train is the fastest vehicle encounterable in casual gameplay. But with the use of the .scm file, you can push it even further. What I mean is that it turns out that you can write a script and assign practically any speed to a train, and it will be represented in the game. Take a look at that. We can assign the train the value of 100,000 bajillions, and when we launch up the script, the train will indeed go at the speed of light. Sometimes it will even take a suspicious aerial shortcut if we go for too fast, but what matters is that these things are possible. In the building in which we kill the Russians in the Just Business mission, there are truly fancy sculptures. Perhaps we should leave the interpretation for some other time, but at first glance, these sculptures seem indestructible. However, one can destroy them with the use of a specific method. Bullets or rockets are completely useless here, and those actually can't be destroyed without the use of cheats. It is because the only way to destroy them is by leading to an explosion of a boat, a plane, or a helicopter. And in the case of these sculptures, for some reason, only that damage source is capable of destroying them. A cool detail about which some of you may not know is that once you're able to yield 2 pistols with CJ, so we've got the skill maxed out, then in a situation where one of CJ's hands is blocked, he will only shoot with one of the guns. Basically, it's a real cool polish, if it wasn't for the fact that in this way, CJ magically gains a double amount of bullets into his magazine. CJ will be able to fire off 34 bullets with one pistol, because the game still thinks as if he was shooting with both. In addition to that, after firing away the entire magazine, CJ still reloads both pistols. So yeah, a cool detail, but they forgot about a few things. The following fun fact is quite scary actually. It would serve as a good argument for a theory that San Andreas was once home to giants. On the landfill in Shady Creeks, there are objects of an unsettlingly big scale. We've got this camper, for instance. The best thing is that it actually doesn't seem out of order at first glance, but if we stand right next to the door of the trailer, then one can see very clearly how ridiculously enormous it is. Practically twice as big as Carl. The comparison with the usual camper available in SA also captures the contrast. Next to the camper, there are a few car wrecks, which despite not being as far from the norm as the trailer, in this comparison with the blade car, you can see that scale is also pretty unnatural here. And then we've got those diggers, or rather, some lifters or something. Those are enormous as well. It's best shown by one of them's cabin, in which about 6 of CJ's would easily fit. Have you ever tried installing hydraulics in a monster truck? Obviously, it's not possible at a trans fender, but you can do it with the help of a trainer. The effect you get is quite bizarre. The monster truck, as if it were some supernova star, collapses under its own weight. Any bouncing has to be forgotten about because pressing buttons doesn't do anything. Only the wheels will sometimes move upwards a bit, but nothing more than that. In fact, any driving should be forgotten about as well because the wheels don't seem to have any contact with the ground. The monster truck will only slide around as if on very slippery ice. Seriously, there's no way to stop it. The only form of movement available for a player is spinning around via the 4-wheel steering, which can be enabled by holding the spacebar. How is this physically possible? Don't ask. I don't know. Oh, and since we're on the topic of forgetting things, we cannot forget that one can also forget about leaving the monster truck. I mean, sure, it is occasionally possible when the truck hits a wall, but in general, the F key is pretty much useless most of the time. Okay, that would be it for today. Thanks for sticking till the end. If you enjoyed it, I'd be grateful if you left a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribed. Also, big thanks to my supporters. Take care and see you in the next video.